Episode number 6 with Chris Baxter.
Okay, so after a few failed attempts, we have the legendary Chris Baxter, old childhood friend of mine, former poker pro. Is that fair? Poker pro?
Yeah, that's fair. I've played a lot recently.
Oh yeah, you're on the grind.
But not as much as I used to at all.
Okay, we won't be talking much poker because he sucks at poker.
I suck at poker?
Yeah.
Yo, don't make me take us back to the days when we were 15, hanging out in your kitchen with your uncles and your cousins. I used to run those games, dude. Come on.
What were they, like $5 buy-ins? Yeah.
I think we might have stepped up to $10 a game or two. The big game was 10.
Yeah, do you remember when we went to Moon's with my grandfather and like the Monopoly man, as you call him?
Yeah.
Had to tell everyone there, like, not to smoke weed and do drugs and shit.
Yeah, dude, we go to an underground poker room in the middle of Boston, and it's just all, 20-year-olds, something. We were, 15?
16, yeah.
And they did a fair amount of drugs there, and you brought your grandfather.
Yeah, I'm a good...
Nobody smoke. Nobody talk about sex.
Definitely no
sex.
sex.
Nobody talk about anything. Just sit there and play poker. Well, that wasn't as bad as... Do you remember my buddy Damon?
Yeah.
So we would play poker, but I'd always invite my buddies who said they played poker, but in reality they played for $5-10.
Yeah.
You know, the high school after-school game thing.
Yeah.
And they would show up, and Moon would give out free alcohol, free food. So my buddy, one time, right, brings a backpack. The beer is supposed to be like, oh yeah, I'm playing poker, I'm having a good time. Like, let me sip a few beers so I could tip the dealer more. But no, like, he took his backpack and just started stocking beers in the backpack. Literally, he waits till I give him like the 5-minute heads up we're gonna go, and he's like, 5 minutes, perfect. Walks over to the fridge, probably took like 15 beers. He's grabbing food in the other hand, and he's walking out.
Man, knowing Damon, you just get just so many amazing stories, I guess.
There's so many amazing stories with Damon.
So anyways, Chris Baxter just graduated film school, which we'll get into, and I'll ask some like shitty questions and drop some knowledge on perhaps Birdman and Boyhood, which I'm pretty interested in. Also, probably we'll talk about. I guess he's pretty into like the whole self-development, meditation, lifestyle design, exercise shit, which. So yeah, he's a pretty interesting dude. Plays basketball.
I did. I actually played tonight for the first time in like 2 months.
Okay. And he wins like tournaments and shit. So he's pretty good. He's good at putting the ball in that spherical. Is it spherical? It's like circular thing.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you keep being awkward. I like where this is going. You keep complimenting me. This is nice.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with interviews. Just have to make you look super awesome. So anyways, yeah, let's talk about film, dude.
For sure.
What are your... So you just graduated film school.
Just graduated.
You're living in Hollywood. Right now you're in Hollywood?
Well, right now I'm in
New Hampshire. But
yes.
You're going back to Hollywood. Or LA.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Okay.
Part of LA. I've lived there for probably like 6 hours. I literally just moved. I moved my stuff, not all of it.
Yeah.
Half of it's in a car in San Diego, but some of it, moved it to LA, caught a flight, came back here, hung out with the family.
So what do you do after film school? How are you going to find a job? Like, what's your plans there?
what do you do after school? After going to a 4-year school in California?
Yeah.
You walk around all day and wish you were still back in school. And you feel kind of obligated to wake up a little earlier than you are. You can't take afternoon naps, which is probably the worst part of being an adult. But basically
naps?
right now...
I disagree, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, I don't have kids, so you have a whole different perspective than I do. But right now, just trying to basically look at different writers' rooms, trying to land a spot in a writer's room, learn from the best, at the same time work on my own original material, some TV pilots, a few shorts, direct, and keep working on original material, bust out some movies, and also try to get into a writer's room. And that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I have a job where I film one-on-one testimonials for a real estate company, which pretty much I just started too, so that will kind of pay the bills, get some more experience in the film corporate world.
Can we talk about your side income thing?
Yeah, sure. Well, what is it? Which one?
The
blackjack?
No, not that one. Your side income thing.
Oh, side income. Okay, you just set this up for, like, the sketchiest. Everybody now thinks I'm a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody's internet goes out
Can you
right
tell
now.
us how to cook coke?
What?
Can you tell us how to cook?
How to cook meth?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Basically, you just watch Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
You try to do everything they do, and then everything you can't figure out, you just Google, dude.
What did you think of Breaking Bad? Did you finish it?
No, I'm a season 3, episode 10, something like that, so kind of towards the end.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's probably one of the only shows where after one episode you're hooked. A lot of shows it takes time to kind of break into it, but Breaking Bad just right away.
Yeah, I remember watching the first episode just kind of randomly and just being like, oh fuck, just watching like another 5, 6.
Shit just got real.
Yeah.
Right away, right off the bat too. The teaser is just him in the RV. Dude, one of the things I didn't like though, probably the only thing about the show, because it's an amazing show, was the season 2 finale. When his wife leaves him because she finds out that he paid for the treatments and they don't have the money, so she thinks he's a drug dealer. And I saw it, and I'm just like, why the fuck didn't he just say he was gambling? Like, he went to Vegas and learned how to count cards or play poker or something like that. Problem solved. And then, literally, the episode today,
he says
she makes up some BS story to her sister about him counting cards.
Yeah.
And it was funny because she had that reaction that anybody would have that doesn't gamble.
Yeah.
How could you? It's a system? But I don't know. It was weird because I was like, why doesn't he just say that? And then it happened. Season 3.
Yeah. I'm pretty bad, but I feel like his character arc is just one of my favorites in all TV shows or all movies all time. Perhaps like Godfather might be a better one though.
Yeah. Walt, it's one of the best character arcs I've seen in any show or film, that's for sure. It's pretty much, so if you're to turn it back to film a little bit, because that's what we started with, basically Hollywood, there's the comedy world and the drama world, and they're kind of two separate worlds.
I love how we got here by cooking meth.
Oh yeah, are we back on me cooking meth?
No, I just thought it was funny that's how we got here. But go ahead.
Do you see how I'm slowly trying to transition away from that?
Yes. Very smart.
And for the drama world, especially crime drama, it's really The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and The Wire. And if you don't watch those through and through, then you're pretty much not going to write for the show. Because everybody just talks about them all the time.
That's the best part of, like, your job, it seems. Like, it's your job to just watch all these amazing shows and learn.
Dude, it's sick. I didn't used to watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
And different mentors and teachers would say, you need to start watching more TV.
Yeah.
And it's weird when a teacher tells you to start watching more TV.
Yeah.
And because I'd have these great ideas for film. Like, yeah, dude, we should do this. And then mentors like, yeah, no, that's already a show. You can't do that. Really? No, it's not. And he's like, yeah. He's like, watch Seinfeld. Like, all right, cool. And I watch it, and I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Well, you guys don't have video on, but I'm literally face palming myself right now.
No, I could see you. So wait, people can't see us in the video, but we can see each other?
Yeah, well, my screen's all fucked up, so we're not doing the screen share thing. They would see all green lines and purple lines, and don't think they want to see that.
It might be trippy, dude, if they're on the stuff that I'm selling.
Now you're going back to it.
It's ridiculous, dude. We're 7 minutes in, and everybody thinks I'm a drug dealer.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Amazing show. Yeah.
So good.
I'm actually not a big fan of Seinfeld.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan because, well, it came out when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
So it was always, at least in my house, it was always Simpsons, and that kind of, I guess, graduated Family Guy, and then there was a bunch of other shows.
Did you just say graduated to Family Guy? Like it's an improvement?
Well, as we got older.
Okay.
But dude, the comedy writing on Family Guy is insane. Some of the best, like, one-line comedies I've ever heard. Family Guy.
I actually thought Family Guy was pretty good the first year or two, then it lost its novelty and it's just really bad.
I've just seen different episodes sporadically, so I haven't really followed it through and through.
Yeah, I think if you watch it a lot, it just gets really boring and kind of mundane. It's always just like the same kind of like random one-liner jokes over and over and over again.
Yeah, I just think Seth MacFarlane's a comedy genius. But yeah, so anyways, Seinfeld. I never really watched it when we were kids. It's not really a kid's show.
No.
It's very situational. I'm honestly, I haven't watched a lot of Seinfeld, so it's hard for me to say. But not really a huge fan either. Not a hater of Seinfeld, sort of say. I like Seinfeld, but it's not one of those shows where I'd be like, yeah, dude, I gotta watch the newest Seinfeld. But it's probably the greatest TV show of all time. And you and me are sitting, I'm in my mom's house right now. So, whatever they did, they did it right.
Yeah. I guess they did okay.
They did okay. They did alright.
That's how you got into film, right? That's where your love for film kind of came, just like sitting on the couch watching TV with your fam or whatever?
Yeah, so sort of. So basically, you know, my household was fucking crazy growing up.
Yeah.
So you met my brother Taylor, right?
Yep.
A bunch of times. He has Williams syndrome. So there was always aides, nurses, therapists, just everybody, babysitters. We've had over 200 confirmed babysitters at my house.
Whoa.
And it's a confirmed list. Me and my little sister made a list because that would be funny. Over 200 names. And my other brother and parents were always fighting back and forth. It was a three-ring circus. It was cool. It was fun. It was really interesting. But it was wild. And really the only time we were ever together, sort of say, and not bickering and arguing and fighting and going a million miles an hour was watching movies or watching TV. Then, of course, as soon as they ended, we would pick up the fighting, but we'd be fighting about what happened in the TV show, in the movie, and arguing about it nonstop. But it was cool. It was just sort of a thing we did together, and I loved doing it. And then always loved it. And then Chappelle Show came out, and I think we were just started high school, somewhere around there. and that really inspired me to just get into film. And I knew then it was what I kind of wanted to do, but I never really took the initiative to do it until much later on.
Yeah, just like, I think you kind of said it was, I'm paraphrasing you a ton, but it's like, just like the power of movies, they kind of evoke emotion or to change, or to like help people through problems or whatever, change people's circumstances, perhaps.
Yeah, that was a complete paraphrase. No, but yeah, no, it does. It brings up the dialogue of different things you wouldn't talk about normally. It lets people have healthy debate. It's entertaining. It's not as healthy as going to the gym or anything. I mean, you're sitting on your ass eating popcorn watching TV.
Yeah.
But it brings up a lot of interesting topics and a lot of interesting questions, and it gets the especially like Scorsese films. And you watch that and you talk about some crazy stuff afterwards, and it brings up a lot of just interesting questions and opens up the debate waves. It's great.
Cool. So back to cooking math.
Back to cooking math.
So
Awkward pause, cooking math. Now every time we have an awkward pause, you're instantly going to bring up cooking math.
Well, pauses don't have to be awkward. It could just be a normal thing. But when you like announce it as awkward, you're like making it extra.
Every awkward pause, or every just normal pause, I'm going to announce awkward pause.
That's unfortunate.
Don't make me do it.
It's like, where do I go from here? Okay. Film. What did you think of Birdman? What do you think of the ending of Birdman, specifically?
The ending of Birdman?
Yeah, what was your interpretation of that?
You love Birdman, right?
It's one of my favorite movies, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. Zach Galifianakis, super underrated job.
I thought he did a great job. It was just shocking.
Yeah, I mean, nobody gives him any credit. Everybody gives the director credit, and rightfully so. He did an amazing job. Michael Keaton, what's her name? The redheaded girl from Superbad.
Yep, love Superbad.
Emma Stone.
Yep.
Dude, how about Jonah Hill and Emma Stone just turning into like Academy Award winning performing
so
actors
weird, yeah.
Super bad. Like, is McLovin next, dude? Like, but yeah, amazing movie. The ending was sort of weird, obviously, but I think if you think about it in the terms of when he shot himself, he actually died. And then he was in heaven. And he gets the newspaper, and he gets all the credit, not Ed Norton. The play's a hit. His daughter loves him, and everything is just in this perfect environment where he's respected as an actor. His daughter respects him as a father.
Even his ex-wife was there, yeah.
And his ex-wife is there. Yeah. And if you think about it like that, it's kind of cool, but then Emma Stone looks out the window and she looks up and he's clearly flying. People are like, yeah, so you see the end and you don't know if he's on the ground or if he's flying. She literally looks down and doesn't really have any facial expression and then looks up and is like, oh my god, like she did everything but point. He's clearly flying. So
Well, wait. There's the asteroid. You remember?
The asteroid? You say asteroid or asterisks?
There was like an asteroid or like a shooting star. You remember? In the sky?
Oh.
So that's why that was there.
I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I think it's that I don't know. I think that he went to heaven. He died when he shot himself, and that was the ending. But I bet there's so many crazy theories about what like the show actually, or what the movie actually was like some crazy story about how he's like a time traveler. Or, there's always like those conspiracy theories with every movie. But I thought it was an amazing movie just from the fact that it was filmed in such a short time period, which is it's sick. And that's one of the big things with Hollywood is I feel like, and granted, I'm like lowest of the totem pole right now, so I really don't know. But it feels like some movies they take forever to film, and there's so much wasted time. For them to film that in a month.
What? In a month?
Yeah, they filmed it in like a month. Yeah.
Wow.
Let me double check on that, but it was a super short time they filmed the.
Use that internet thing. Double check. What? Use that internet thing. Double check.
Yeah, I'll use this thing called Google.
Google?
Is your podcast sponsored by anybody?
Yeah.
Who's it sponsored by?
I have lots of sponsors, actually.
Do you want any shameless plugs right now?
I don't have any sponsors, fortunately.
Oh, you don't?
No.
That's good that I actually believed you, though.
Yeah.
Maybe you had a few sponsors. That means that you must be doing something right.
Yeah.
But they filmed it in a super short time frame, and some of the shots, like the tracking shots that they had.
Yes. Well, back to the ending.
Yeah.
I read something by I'm going to say the director, and he said that he left it completely open to interpretation, and there's more interpretations of the ending than there are seats in a movie theater. Was the quote?
Yeah, that it was cool how he left it sort of ambiguous at the end, kind of like Inception, And that's the thing, we talk about it time and time again, and it's just like free press for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he killed himself. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the ability to fly. I'm not entertaining any of those theories. But I loved in the movie where it's just, where he's flying one scene and then he walks into the theater and then the cab comes chases after him, asking for the money, asking for his money.
Yeah.
But you can't tell for sure,
Yeah. No, it's an amazing movie. I was on the fence about Boyhood or Birdman winning. I mean, both were so amazing. It could have gone either way.
Well, Boyhood 12 years, Birdman 1 month. Easy game.
It was 1 month, by the way.
It was 1 month.
Yeah, 1 month.
Cool. So the whole Birdman was all shot. The whole movie, not the whole Birdman, was shot in one take, right, or 2 takes. There was no cutaway scenes or anything.
I don't think it was shot in that little takes. Granted, not entirely sure because I didn't direct the film. I'm just, as again, lowest on the totem pole in Hollywood. So I don't think it was shot in 1 or 2 takes. I think it was made to look like it was shot in 1 or 2 takes, and they shot it in a significantly less amount of takes than a normal movie would.
Okay.
But I think the longest, I want to say the longest shots they had were like 8-9 minutes or so.
Okay.
And then there was a bunch of quicker shots that were still just under that. So it was definitely shot in like a really unique style, but I don't think it was just all. If it was all 1 or 2 takes, it would look ridiculous. It'd win every award.
Yeah,
so, and it wouldn't be a 30-day shoot.
Yeah,
it'd be like a 3-hour shoot.
Yeah. Okay. Logic makes sense. How hard is that to actually do what they did? To actually pull off those type of? Because I mean, for me, just complete idiot when it comes to that stuff. Like, how difficult is to do what they did?
Super easy.
It's super easy.
Boyhood should have won.
Okay.
No, it's insanely hard.
Well, why is this so difficult? It just seems like I'm some idiot. I'm just like, you just follow the guy around with your camera.
Yeah, well, it's literally that easy. Seinfeld sucks. Well, say the shot where they're following him around, right?
Yeah.
And he's walking through the backstage. Dude, if one person fucks up their spot 6 minutes in, and they accidentally bump into Michael Keaton, or they stumble with one line, you gotta do the whole thing over.
Yeah.
Everybody, there's like 30, 40 people that all have a specific place and a specific time they're supposed to come out and do an action or a mannerism or say a line, and everything has to be like this perfect orchestra of notes, and if one note is off, the whole thing crumbles. So it's insanely hard.
So, a regular movie is like if somebody fucks up, you waste just like a minute or a few seconds or something.
Yeah, however long the take is, but you never waste time really, because you can always take parts of a take and put that and use that, or you also, as an actor, or as a director, or a cameraman, whatever, you learn from the takes before that you don't use on how to make the next take better, so you're constantly improving, getting the shot you want, the scene you want. But yeah, I mean, if you fuck up there, it's 5-6 minutes that isn't going to be in the film that you just filmed.
Okay, so normal fuck-ups are like you lose much less than 5-6 minutes? Is that just all the difficulty to it?
No, it's obviously, it's more than just like, oh, like this person walked into the scene, like it's ruined. It's hard for an actor to, it's hard for somebody to do basically a 6-minute scene and not only memorize all your lines, but also memorize all your specific mannerisms and your movements and your actions, because you see it all the time in plays. Mm-hmm. They do it all the time, but in film, it's so precise with your different movements and how your face looks and all that, that if you mess up one thing, I mean, it's another take.
Huh.
So, but I know more about it from the writing side, because that was my emphasis in school. So I know more about that. But yeah, it's super tough.
Okay, so it's more difficult. I thought it might have been difficult for the film crew in some way. But I guess it's just difficult for most. No,
it's difficult for the film crew too. Okay. I mean, to be on your shot for that long, it's physically difficult just to hold a camera for 6 minutes.
How much does a camera weigh, by the way? Like, typically?
How much does it weigh?
Yeah.
What kind of cameras they use? They're pretty heavy. It's not, like, insanely heavy, but it's probably, like, a good 30, 40 pounds at least. Okay. With all, like, the rig and everything that they have. I mean, I don't know. It might have been on, like, a dolly or a crane. I'm not really sure. But they're heavy. They use the legit cameras.
Yeah.
They're not, like, iPhone.
On the iPhone? No.
Although there was a movie in Sundance that was filmed entirely on iPhone.
iPhone 6?
It had to be.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Or maybe iPhone 5? I don't know. How long has the 6 been out for?
I don't know. I don't follow these things.
Yeah. Probably 6.
Yeah.
5S maybe.
I have a 4, which everyone kind of just shits on, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Dude, everybody's going to shit on your 4. And then when you eventually get the 5, the 7's going to be coming out, and then everybody's going to be just shitting on your 5. You have to leapfrog a number to get out of your getting shit on cycle. That's what I had to do.
I just think it's stupid. Like, I have a fucking iPhone that could basically do fucking anything. You know, if this was 10 years ago, it would just be the greatest piece of software ever, you know?
Dude, how weird is that same way, all I need is texting, I guess email, texting, which is essentially the same thing now.
Porn. Really good quality porn.
Porn, which I was going to say just internet, and save some face on your podcasts.
Yeah.
So, well, people already think I sell meth. I don't want to let them think that I'm a porn addict also. But internet, email, text, phone, that's all you need.
Yeah.
But then you get the phone. And you're like, Angry Birds! Oh my god, I'm going to beat every level
but I could play Angry Birds on my iPhone 4. Play all the same fucking games.
You've never played Angry Birds?
I'm saying I could play Angry Birds on my iPhone 4. Like, I don't need an iPhone 6.
Oh, yeah. Eventually the software keeps updating, and they kind of just, like, weed you out, you know? Like, I couldn't get Twitter on my iPhone 4 eventually because I didn't have enough room to download the software, and I wanted to tweet, and I couldn't do it, so I had to jump up, get the 5.
Yeah, they're smart like that. Did I tell you where I got a check from Apple for a lawsuit they lost for like $250?
Really?
Yeah. With the in-app purchases, they make it so easy on the kids' games, basically. So I guess like a bunch of moms got together and sued them, and somehow I made some money off of that, like $250.
Was your kids just downloading all the...
Oh yeah, it's so easy. It's just you click the button and then you click OK. There's no verification or anything.
Dude, I almost bought something for like $99 on. It was like an add-on to some weird fucking game that somebody sent me. And I was like, all right, I'm in New Hampshire for 2 weeks and visiting my family. I'm bored as shit, right?
Yeah.
So somebody sends me this game. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And I don't remember what game it was, but I accidentally almost bought like an add-on for like $99. Yeah. And it was like one click away.
Yeah, there's this app it's not on the market anymore, but I forgot who made it. I'm gonna say some rapper made it, and it's $1,000, and it has no functionality. It just says like "I'm rich" on it.
Buy it. Buy it.
Yeah, I don't have the money to do such things. So anyways, we'll skip from film. I'm pretty interested in your stuff, like hearing you talk about your whole self-development, how that's helped you with film and goal setting. Actually, goal setting I think is a pretty interesting topic I wanted to get to. Because I guess sometime 6-7 years ago, you kind of plotted out your exact path and kind of followed it this past 6 years, basically.
Yeah, so basically when I was, let me think, like probably like 5-6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much I was dating a girl for 4 years that you know, and we broke up. I didn't get kicked out of the apartment because we had our own apartment together, but I decided to leave because it would have been just super awkward, you know. Ended up paying her rent, which she just took the money and pocketed it, and got slapped with a bill for $10,000 3 months later. The whole poker. Black Friday? Is that what it was called?
Black Monday.
Black Monday?
No, it was Black Friday.
Was it Black Friday?
Yeah.
Alright. I've been out of the poker world for a while. That whole thing happened, so a bunch of my money was frozen, couldn't play poker. My grandma, who was pretty big in raising me, passed away. I got, like, really, really sick, which might have just been from, like, all the stress in my life. Mm-hmm. I got, like, really sick. And just, like, everything was just kind of, like, rock bottom at the time. And then I kind of just took a few weeks and thought about what I want to do with my life. Kind of planned out what I wanted to do the next 10, 15 years of my life. And it was go to school, graduate. I went back to community college, got into film school in California, just graduated, and now I'm here.
You're like obsessive goal setter.
I am an obsessive goal setter. I'll set like, first of all, I have a bucket list that I made when I was 20.
Yeah. That
I treat like goals. Not like, oh, that'd be like really cool to go zipline through the Amazon jungle. It's like, it's a goal and I have to do it. I'm actively trying to do it. And then I set goals for just months at a time, semesters at a time, which I guess now is years at a time. Now that I'm an adult and I graduated, semesters don't exist anymore. And I'm just constantly setting goals. Big goal setter.
So what do people do wrong when they goal set? Like, what's like the common mistakes here that you've made, perhaps?
Oh, am I fucking Tony Robbins, dude?
Yeah. Well,
So
what did you do wrong initially? Like when you're
things that I've done wrong is I think one of the main things is people have, especially I've had goals where you just didn't have big enough goals, where you want something and you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna make $10,000 the next 3 months, right? And you might pull up a little short. But what if you said, I want to make $100,000 the next 3 months? And a lot of times
Is this how you cook meth? Is this how the meth business started?
That's part two, because you got to have a plan for your goal.
All right, go ahead.
But basically, what I like to do for goals is just write down if I knew I was going to be successful. 100% success rate. What is everything I would want in my life? And I write it down, I read it back, it sounds absolutely fucking ridiculous. And then write down what of those goals you're committed to achieving in a few years, a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And then you kind of I've always set paths on how to get to that goal, what I need to do on a daily basis to get to that goal that I want to achieve. And there's been a lot of goals I've failed at, but a lot that were completely, at the time, unfathomable that I ended up accomplishing because I set these, like, ridiculous, borderline obsessive-compulsive goal setting.
Can you give us an example of, like, one of them that you accomplished and how you did it? Like, what you had to do on a daily basis to get there?
Okay, I would say, well, to bring it back to high school, I always said when the poker boom came out, I always said I was going to win a BMW playing poker. And I was like 14, and we were playing for $5, $10 a game, and it was like ridiculous to think that one of us would win a BMW. And I just said, for me to do this, I'm going to play every day, get better, read books, watch poker on TV, learn a lot, and didn't really know how exactly it was going to happen, but had faith that it would, and eventually I just kept getting better, make more money, and bought the car.
You got an Audi, though.
Got an Audi A6, but then there was that whole thing where some of the money I had made when I was 16, 17, my parents were holding it for me.
Yeah.
And some of it went a little missing at the time. So I don't really know where that went. And my mom got a new BMW.
Okay.
At that time. So I might have gotten a BMW. I don't really know. I never really asked her about it. It was kind of weird, but yeah. So maybe I did have a BMW.
Okay. So I think that's pretty interesting, like, the whole path to a goal. I guess if you just make a goal and just be like, oh, I'm going to do this, and not set out clear intentions. I don't know. I don't even fucking make goals. It's just, you ask me what I want, I don't even know. But I just imagine without, like, a day-to-day idea of what to do, it's just not going to happen, basically.
I think a really important thing for goal setting and this is just from all my experiences, everybody sets their goals differently and to each his own, and obviously everything that has worked out for me might not work for somebody else, or things that haven't worked out for me might work out for you. But I think a lot of people just don't have enough leverage on their goals. So you say, oh yeah, I want to make $1 million. Well, why do you want to make $1 million? So I think it'd be like nobody doesn't not want to make $1 million, but unless you have that leverage where you know you absolutely need something to happen, it's never going to happen. You need to find out why you want it and find that driver that will drive you to have it. And I think so many of my goals that have failed have just been like, yeah, I want to do this because it'd be super sick, dude, to make like $1 million and bang 3 supermodels next year. But then it doesn't happen, and you're like, why didn't that happen to me, man? Come on, I really wanted it. And it was just, didn't have enough leverage. It wasn't that important to me subconsciously. So I was never actively going towards that.
Yeah, I think, my buddy Pedro, who I used to podcast with, and we were doing that thing, Change the Why.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all about...
By the way.
Huh?
How'd that go, by the way?
We did it for like a month or two, and then we just stopped. It's just like thrown into the pile of many things that I've started and not finished.
Yeah, dude, we all have that pile.
Yeah. So yeah, he's all about... The whole site was called Change the Why. Because it's all about why you do something, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess it's just like asking like a little kid why all the time.
Yeah. It's I think when you ask yourself why, you eventually get down to the thing that's going to drive you emotionally, which is because logic, and this is weird coming from a guy who used to play professional poker and a guy who teaches professional poker and is a professional poker player, basically shitting on logic. But I'm going to shit on it for just a second, is that logic never drove anybody anywhere. It's important that we have logic. I mean, if we didn't, Donald Trump will be the next president. But the thing that drives people is emotion. And when you ask why, you eventually get down to why emotionally you want something and what's going to drive you to get it. And you know why you want it, and then you have pretty much rocket fuel for how to get to where you're going.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. A lot of the big human accomplishments were almost all driven through, like, emotion, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with this because it feels wrong. It feels wrong what you're saying. Like, I want to disagree, but I'm not smart enough to, like, come up with a good argument for that against you.
I mean, I'm not that smart, so it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. I'm just very stupid. Okay. I'm going to agree with you. Just 'cause.
No, I think logic is really important in certain scenarios, and without it, we wouldn't be exponentially growing as a human race, you know? But emotions is what drives people to do what they do. I mean, it's just that, logic is never going to drive you to do something. It clearly has its place in society, but it's never going to drive you to really do something. It's your emotional wants that's going to drive you to do something.
Yeah. I guess it's just... I think it's really hard to find out what really makes you happy or what you really want, or...
It's super hard. Did I tell you about the morning questions I've been doing?
No.
So basically for the last month, I've been doing these morning questions right when I wake up. So you just ask yourself just different things. I have a list of about 10 different questions, but some of them are, how did I grow as a person from yesterday? How am I going to grow today? What opportunity will I have today that I've never had in the past? What's some random thing that's going to make me feel enjoyment for no reason? What's a few things I'm grateful for? And I ask myself all these questions in the morning. It takes like 10, 15 minutes, and just found myself way happier throughout the day, every day. Just been in like this constant good mood for like the last 30 days. I feel like I'm on opiates or something. It's really cool.
Are you on opiates?
No, I've never done opiates. I just sell them.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. I guess that just changes your whole mindset for the day.
For the entire day, yeah. And it kind of, you start to associate waking up with feeling good.
Yeah.
So you want to wake up in the morning, and yeah, it just, the whole day kind of just sets you off on the right track.
I hate that feeling of just waking up and just not wanting to.
It's so shitty. Have you ever woken up from not a nightmare, but just a shitty dream?
Yeah.
And maybe where you did something that you wouldn't morally do in real life, and then you wake up and you just feel like shit.
Yeah.
And it's the worst, dude. It sets you, like, the whole day just sucks from there on.
That's why I feel like morning routine's so important. Like, I'm not a huge fan of routines, but I feel like making sure you feel good in the morning, start your day, is just so important for me.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I don't like doing it. Like, when I wake up, I don't want a morning routine. I just go into whatever I'm doing. Yeah. So I wake up and I really don't even want to eat breakfast. I want to just go into writing a script or whatever it is, or emailing people that I need to email. That's what I want to do. I want to go right into work, like right away, within a minute or two.
Yeah.
And I kind of force myself to do this, and it just sets you up for the whole day.
Are you writing out these answers, or you're just thinking in your head? Or
I'm thinking them in my head, but I'm putting enough thought into them where I'm actually like really feeling it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like, 3 things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do my first podcast with Daryl. Like, that'll be cool. Next thing, like, you really feel like, I'm really grateful for this. Like, this is a really cool thing. Like, you really have to feel it, like, really, really feel it inside. And so I kind of just go through them in my head, answers all the questions, and then try my best to really feel them, and then go about my day.
Gratitude's a really weird thing, just because I feel like it's so unnatural.
It is. Dude, we're always pissed off. Like, we always, like, even something that, like, you're grateful for, you're like, I'm grateful that I have the iPhone 4, but I wish I had the iPhone 5.
Yeah.
And, like, you're always grateful, but you wish you kind of had a little more.
Yeah.
And it's, gratefulness is a weird thing. It definitely is.
Yeah, it's the good and bad part of being human, like, just always wanting more. I mean, it's kind of led to
always wanting more, yeah.
All this progress, and always finding what's wrong, I guess, has been, evolutionarily very beneficial. Like, just find out what's wrong and just want to fix it.
Just go into Walmart and look at who's walking around.
I literally see someone.
Feel grateful for everything you have.
I seen this lady and I felt so bad. She was like 6 years old, and she was literally just complete zombie, just like walking in Walmart, just walking at just complete snail's pace, just eyes just completely downcast, completely not there. For example, like if just her soul was just like out of her body completely. You know what I mean?
Walmart's a magical place. It really is. If I have writer's block, I just go to Walmart and just look at people there, and boom, I have like 12 new characters.
I remember I wouldn't go into Walmart at a time because I'd always walk out pretty depressed.
Yeah, you always feel a little more depressed, or sometimes you feel, if you're in the right mindset, you feel happier. If you're really already super depressed, you go into Walmart and you think, this is going to cheer me up, it might cheer you up, But most of the time, you're going to be either way. You're going to have a life-altering mindset at the end of your Walmart trip.
Yeah.
It's going to be completely different from how you walked in.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck Walmart. So yeah, another thing with gratitude is just, it's a really hard emotion to really feel. Like if you just say, oh, I want to feel grateful for something, you're like, oh, I'm going to try and feel grateful for this. And then it's hard to really feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely know what you're saying, because a few of the questions that I ask in the morning are, what are you happy about right now in your life? What are you proud of? What are you excited about? And those are all relatively easy to answer.
Yeah.
Right away, like, oh, what am I excited about? Like, boom, I'm excited about hanging out with my friend today. Or, boom, I'm excited about watching this new movie that somebody gave me a link to. But to say, what are you grateful for? It's hard. It's hard to really feel it.
Yeah. But when you do, it's amazing, right?
When you do, it's amazing. But you can easily make yourself feel excited. Like, what's one thing that you're excited for? Like, everybody's excited for something. Like, oh, I'm going out to eat. Like, I love food. That's going to taste great. Like, I'm excited about that. Boom, right there. You can already feel it. But to really feel grateful, it's tough. It's hard. It's like a whole mindset that you have to put yourself into. But when you do, like you said, it's amazing.
It's way better than all the other emotions, I feel like. You know?
Gratefulness?
Yeah.
It's
hard to say, but I don't know. It's pretty cool feeling.
It absolutely is.
What's the right mindset for it? Because the only thing that easily gets me into that mindset is the Tony Robbins, I don't know if it's a morning routine, but his prep. And I guess for those of you guys who don't know, it's this routine he does he does it in the morning to get himself amped up every single day. I think he does this breathing thing where he takes 3 breaths in and 3 breaths out pretty quick, like that. I don't know if you could hear that well on mic.
I can see it.
Yeah.
You look great. Probably definitely what any successful person would do.
Yeah. So it's the breathing thing, and then I think you tap your fingers, the points of your fingers, and you do that for 5 minutes.
Doesn't he hop in a cold shower or hot springs or something like that too?
He goes in a ice bath or something that's 57 degrees or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't really know what he does.
57.2.
57.6 degrees at 6:30 a.m. every day.
Yeah. So yeah, he takes the ice bath. And I think he also used to do cryo freezing or something.
Oh, cryotherapy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit, dude.
Have you done it?
I'm not a scientist, so I have no fucking idea, but from what I hear, it's pretty legit. Do you know a lot about that?
No, I just know that he does it.
Why?
Yeah.
But it's supposedly, Joe Rogan does it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's this tank, and it uses nitrogen or something, and it pretty much gets so cold, it's like 50 something below. It's insanely cold, and it shocks your body, and the thing gets dying, which doesn't sound great, but it's great for pain and inflammation, and it's supposedly just an ice bath on steroids, pretty much. They have them too. Like the public can do them. They're a little expensive. It's like $60 or something.
Really?
Yeah. Because I looked into it. There's one in LA, because after like Vegas trips where I'm just walking around from casino to casino all the time, my body's just shot. So I looked into it, and you can do it.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna try that out.
Dude, after the next, because I don't want to. I want to try it out, but I want to be like somewhat injured or sore first.
Yeah.
And since I'm a lazy fuck and don't do anything, I'm probably just gonna wait till the next Vegas trip where I'm just walking for 2 straight days, and then try it out.
Makes sense. Okay, so yeah, Tony Robbins' thing is that breathing and walking thing, and then my version is I just listen to songs that just get me really pumped, which is Eminem, No Love. Just his verse, basically. That's my favorite verse of all time, by the way. Have you heard it?
Of course I've heard it. I'm trying to think about how it goes, though.
I'm not going to rap it.
I know how the song goes. But I don't know how does this verse go? Start rapping, and I'll come in at the right time.
The opening lines are, I'm alive again. More alive than I have been my whole entire life.
Still waiting for the right time. Not feeling it yet.
You're just trying to make me rap the whole thing. That's awful.
No, I love Eminem. There's nothing better than Eminem radio on Pandora when you need to get shit done.
Yeah.
Want to clean the house? Put on Eminem Pandora radio.
Yeah.
Need to just accomplish things? Put on Eminem Pandora. It'll just get you in the right mindset.
Yeah, that's why he's my favorite rapper. Just his competitiveness and I don't know, just.
Dude, Shady's the man.
Yeah, he's good.
One of my favorite songs of all time is Real Slim Shady.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely love it, dude. Like, I would listen to it to get pumped up for basketball games. Like, anything. Anytime it comes on, I'm working out. I'm just in the zone when it comes on. I love Real Slim Shady.
That's probably one of my least favorite Eminem songs.
The podcast is over, then. You don't like that song, dude?
Oh, no, wait. Was that the first one? Or is that the one... Is that his first single? Real Slim Shady? That came on the radio?
I can sing it for you.
Oh, no, it's the one where the video is like 50 Eminems.
I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. Are you other Slim Shadys are just imitating? So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Yeah,
please stand up.
It's okay. It's okay.
Alright, well, we've upgraded at least to okay.
Yeah.
We'll take that.
You've convinced me. Power of persuasion. Dale Carnegie shit.
How's that book, by the way? Are you done with that?
I finished it. It's amazing book.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
I've read it 4 or 5 times, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
I mean, I kind of just used it yesterday. Like, went to Barnes & Noble and some dude was talking to me. And normally, I just kind of non-verbally tell him to fuck off by going back to my book.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But I decided, okay, I'm just going to actually really listen to this person and maybe, I don't know, make him feel better or learn something, whatever, you know? And we ended up talking for 30 minutes in Barnes & Noble, and then I ended up getting his number. And,
well, that sounds a little weird.
Well, I guess we kind of became friends. So
that's sweet.
It was super sweet.
Yeah.
I'm going to send him
a dick pic? Because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I was going to say early Valentine's Day card. Is that weird? 8 months in advance?
Dude, nonverbal fuck-offs are the worst.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the most just emasculating things you can do to somebody is when they're right in the middle of a important conversation, just turn and look the other way. Like, you don't have to say anything. Just turn and look the other way and do something completely different. And it's completely deflating.
Yeah, I'm the best at that. I don't know, it's kind of weird just how I used to, and it's just seeing so many people be out in public and just completely in their own world.
Yeah.
Not connecting at all with other people.
Yeah, one of the things I try to do every day is just talk to 3 random people.
That's hard to do. Do you actually?
I mean, it can be as simple as a hi, like, hey, how you doing? Or it can be a full-fledged conversation, but every day just try to talk to at least 3 random people.
I'm in the house way too much for that.
Dude, I've been in the house so much in New Hampshire. There's not much to do. I've just been reading a lot and writing. I get out of the house maybe once a day. and I don't have a car here, and like I'm just a prisoner of waiting for my little sister and little brother to come home so they can drive me places, so I can go talk to my 3 random people.
It's like, take me to this guy.
Take me to Walmart. I want to talk to some randos.
There's this cop that I have a Walmart right next door to my house, and there's just this cop there who's just always miserable. I always try and like acknowledge him, talk him up. So
does it work?
Not really. Okay. It must be a really huge change to just go from San Diego to New Hampshire and no car.
Dude, it's a little weird. It's raining right now in New Hampshire, which is the strangest thing because it rains maybe once every decade in California, or at least the part I'm in. So just the fact that it's raining, it just started raining, and I'm like, holy shit, is it raining right now? It's fucking nuts. And my family just doesn't give a shit that it's raining. Yeah, dude, it's a completely different lifestyle change, going from Cali to New Hampshire. But it's nice, it's relaxing. You know, it's cool, time off.
Yeah? When are you going back?
Going back Tuesday.
Cool.
Yeah.
And jobs and work and all that shit.
Yeah, I want to do a little more traveling. You know.
Okay.
Why are you laughing at me?
My first instinct is just you really want to put off the actual getting a job, getting into work stuff.
Yeah, well, that's a huge part of it.
You're like, I really want to travel.
I want to really travel for like the next 20 years. So I want to just at least once a month try to. This sounds weird, but I've been on Groupon a lot.
Okay.
Sign up for a Groupon newsletter, and they're always sending me shit of like, oh, like 4-day cruise in the Bahamas, like $600, like airfare included, and I just want to try to hit up some sort of trip vacation like thing once a month.
Cool.
Just for like 2-3 days on a weekend.
Have you read the Tim Ferriss stuff on travel and the book Vagabonding?
No, I haven't. I heard his stuff's really good for it's. Is it something about how to travel for really cheap?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I probably should read that before I go anywhere.
Yes, that's a good idea. If you plan on traveling a lot, you should.
Does he have a specific book on it, or is it just articles he's written?
He has articles he's written. He had the guy who wrote Vagabonding on the podcast, which I'm not sure if I could
Have you read that?
No, I haven't read it, just because I don't fucking travel anywhere anymore, so.
No, I remember him having that podcast. I never listened to it, though.
Yeah. So I recommend reading that. It's supposed to be pretty good.
I will add it to my insanely long list.
The list of book to read just keeps growing bigger and bigger. It never gets smaller.
Do you want to know what I'm reading right now?
Okay.
This might surprise you a little bit.
Okay.
Charlotte's Web.
Wow. I'm very surprised.
Well, okay, so I'm in New Hampshire, right?
Okay.
It's raining out. I don't have a car. I'm at my mom's house. Just kind of
Balling.
waiting here. Doing what?
Balling. Being a baller.
Balling out at my mom's, sleeping on the couch. And there's not really much to do besides just writing and reading. So you can only write for so many hours a day. And I was looking around at books, and I had this list. It's like 100 books that you should read in your lifetime or something like that. And the only book that was on the list that was at my mom's house was Charlotte Web. Ironically, there was 2 different copies of it. So I thought, maybe I should give this a shot. And I just started yesterday, and it's pretty good, dude.
Okay.
It's a pretty good book. I'm almost done because it's a quick read, but
okay.
It's solid, dude, so far. I like it.
What are some of your favorite fiction books?
Favorite fiction books?
Yeah.
I like Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Okay.
That's probably... Have you read it?
No.
That's probably I'd say my favorite fiction book.
Okay.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Amazing book. That's up there too. The Harry Potter series.
I just read the last book, which was amazing. It was really good.
Do you mean like, I just finished the last book, or the only book I read was the last
only Harry Potter book I read was the last book.
Interesting place to start.
Yeah.
You're that guy that picks up a new book and instantly reads the last page, right, before you start it?
No, I've never done that. I've only done that twice. This was before I read books, because I had the idea that reading fiction books was stupid until I
had that idea too
for a long time. So
I didn't read a book for like 6-7 years in school.
Yeah.
Right around high school. I mean, I maybe read one or two, but I just spark noted it up every day in class. literally didn't read at all.
What's a spark note? What's the difference? Is it just a fucking note, or is there something sparky about it?
Oh yeah, you didn't go to high school, so you wouldn't.
Yeah, what's that?
Does your podcast fans know that?
Drop
some bomb on them?
Do they know I crushed my GED? Now they do.
Congratulations, by the way. That's sick, man.
Yeah. It was a while ago. It was embarrassingly easy, some of the questions. Like, they gave you a calculator for math questions.
Well, dude, it's the GED. It's not supposed to be insanely hard.
Fair enough.
But a Spark Note, it just summarizes the chapters for lazy people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's perfect for like the pothead high school kid.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before then? Somehow we got onto Spark Notes. I don't know how this happened.
Reading? How you
okay.
read for a while?
Yeah, I used to make fun of my wife and stuff just because she read books. And then,
You used to make fun of her for reading?
Yeah, I used to make fun of her for reading.
Turn on the TV every once in a while, you idiot.
Yeah, I was literally just that much of an asshole.
It happens.
And so I got into reading around, but I already watched all the Harry Potter movies, so I wasn't gonna fucking read the books after watching the movies.
Yeah.
And started on the last one. It was really fucking good.
Yeah.
I think I finished it in 2-3 days or something.
I finished the fourth one, which is, I'm pretty sure it's the longest one, in less than a day. It's like 800 pages, maybe? 700 pages, something like that.
That's some fast reading.
Yeah, well, dude, I was like 9. It wasn't that fast.
Okay.
But, I mean, I read it for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Just literally locked myself in a room and read it.
Dude, I love that Dale Carnegie thing on how to actually read a book to get the most out of it.
Oh, yeah. What is that again?
Okay, so first you read through the book and you kind of just speed read through it, but also with a highlighter, and you highlight the parts that you find really interesting.
Uh-huh.
Second is you reread it, but this time very slowly, really paying attention. And after you reread it, you actually think about the stuff and how you can implement it. You write down the principles, maybe, of that thing. The principles maybe you learned in that chapter. And that's basically it. So the problem with the way most people read books is just a one-time kind of gloss over type of thing. But I think books are useless if you can't really put them into action, basically, or really memorize shit. So I've read a ton of books and just forgot so much. But the more things you do to kind of implement the stuff that you've read, the more it's going to stay in your memory. So, for example, Abraham Lincoln, he used to write out the whole entire... He would have written out...
Who is he, Madonna now? Just one name?
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking, he's pretty famous.
Abraham's already taken, so...
Yeah.
Lincoln sounds good.
Yeah. So, he used to write out the whole entire book that he was reading.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah.
For word?
Yeah, word for word. So just to imprint it in his mind.
Dude, and you know that he had some sort of, like, ball weird ink pen sort of thing going on, that he had to dip in ink every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It probably took him just years to write out one book.
Yeah. So he was a voracious reader, but he also did that. He repeated the shit in his head as well.
Yeah.
So highlighting, rereading, going back and just rereading the parts you highlighted when you want, in a few weeks, constantly revisiting, highlighting, is all just really vital if you want to just learn. And I really love just kind of carefree, just skimming through it the first time and just enjoying it, if you're reading nonfiction.
I definitely read fiction and nonfiction completely differently. No, fiction, probably just blow through it.
Yeah.
Just read it. Start to finish, no notes, just enjoy the story. Nonfiction, I'm always taking notes. Any nonfiction book, I have at least a few pages of notes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, instead of highlighting the important things, just writing them down.
I like that. I don't like really good nonfiction book is usually a pretty good story as well. And I really just hate, on my first time reading it, just breaking up the story and constantly pausing. Kind of takes the fun out of it,
So, yeah, for sure.
So I like to pause at the end of read one chapter or something, and then do, and just highlight while I'm reading, which is pretty simple. And then do all the note taking. And so there's this, I'm going to quote this, so I'm not sure how accurate it is, but so you remember 20% of what you read. You remember a bigger percentage of what you read and what you hear. If you read and hear something, you remember even a bigger percentage if you read, hear, and do the thing.
And write it down?
Yeah, if you write it down, actually, too. If you read, hear it, and write it down, you remember a bigger percentage. If you do all that and say it out loud, you remember an even bigger percentage. And if you do all those things and actually do the action that the thing suggests, your memory of it can be 90% or something.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard the whole part about if you write things down.
Yeah.
I think 80% more is what I heard. Who knows what the number actually is, but yeah, that all makes sense. How many times, have you ever read something, and then you read it, and you just go, I have literally no idea what I just read in this last paragraph.
Yeah, all the time.
That's so much. But yeah, if you definitely take the information and really take it to heart and implement it in your daily life, there's some amazing books out there.
Yeah, and I feel like I've read a lot, but just haven't implemented maybe 2-3% of each, maybe.
It's one of the most difficult things. Anybody can read a book.
Yeah.
You learn to do that in kindergarten, but to actually implement the stuff in the book, it's tricky sometimes, dude.
Yeah. I get pissed at those people who are just I read a book a day. It's okay, how much do you actually remember of all that shit you read? How much of that is just forgotten and gone?
Well, some people are pretty fast readers.
Yeah.
And it could be, I could read Charlotte's Web in a day.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. I could probably read it in, it's 180 pages, and there's a lot of the pages have pictures on them. And
does it have little pop-up pictures too?
No, it's not. It's not that magnificent. That's basically my life right now, though. I'm at my mom's house in New Hampshire by myself with no car, reading picture books.
I could come save you tomorrow if you'd like.
I'm going to my grandma's in the Cape.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What part of the Cape is she in?
Wellfleet, so by Provincetown, by the top.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that much. All I know is like Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard.
Do you know where those are exactly?
I've been to Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if I could tell you the latitude and longitude of them.
So basically, when you asked what town my grandma lives in, no matter what I said, you just had absolutely no idea.
Unless you said Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket. Yes.
That's true. But I think anybody would say, oh yeah, my grandma lives on Nantucket, on Martha's Vineyard.
Is that how it would go?
That's how it would go down.
Okay.
Those are two travel destinations, my man.
Yes. I've been there to Martha's Vineyard. It's cool. It's good times.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
You're not a true New Englander unless you've gone there at least once or twice.
Fair enough. Okay, so I guess we reached the natural end of this. Ended it on a super high note. Random Cape Cod talk. So yeah, is there anything you want to plug, or where can we find out more about the Chris Baxter?
Is this the end of the podcast?
Yeah, is it?
Right. What?
Yeah, it could be. It is.
Sure, we can keep talking, or we can end it as like I said, I'm doing nothing right now.
Well, it seemed like the natural end of it. It's pretty late for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm an old man.
You got to get up early tomorrow?
No, it's just I fucking wake up at like 7 a.m. and so usually tired by this time.
Oh. Dude, I gotta be up at 6 to go to my grandma's.
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah, anything I want to plug? My YouTube page, Mr. Cbax1, just the number 1. Got a few videos up there. That's pretty much it.
Twitter,
Mr. Cbax1.
Okay.
Same with Instagram.
The Instagrams, Mr. Cbax1.
Yeah, that's just pretty much everything right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
And, cool. And yeah, you have your own skits or bits. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, I have a few skits I've put up there. If any of your follower friends that watch this are interested in screenwriting or film, definitely hit me up. Just to even workshop each other's stuff, to connect, anything like that. Pretty easy to find, just Mr. Cbax1 and all the social media outlets.
Is there applications for cooking meth business? Are you looking for partners for that?
Do you really want to talk about all the side shit I do? Because I sound like a drug dealer right now. Let's be honest.
All right, yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, so what do you want to hit on first? Blackjack?
Yeah, blackjack for sure.
So basically, counting cards, sponsored guy that backs me. I have a pretty good deal, I guess 75%.
Why is this such a good deal when MTT's getting 60% is really good?
When who?
In MTT's, getting 60%.
Oh, in MTT's?
Yeah. Even in cash, I don't think there's... Like 70-30 deals are really, really good, you know?
Yeah. I'm not sure if blackjack's any different than poker. I don't think it is.
You just got a good deal, basically?
Yeah, it was a friend. And I had some success so far. And I had some good results. And he wanted to do it, and it made sense for me because I could play a little bigger than I could on my own bankroll. And I'm not sure. I guess it was just we said, what do you want to do for the deal? And I just said 75-25 and just came out with it. And he's like, yeah, that's good. And then there's another guy back on my team for 70-30.
So you have a team of people. It's like actual, like the movie 21. You have teams and spotters and all that stuff?
No, it's not. It's not like we have spotters or there's...
Do you yell at monkey at the table all the time?
Dude, that's probably the most annoying. I hate people that monkey. Shut the fuck up. No, we just use the same bankroll. We don't actually play together at the same time. I don't know if it's illegal to do that. I want to say it's not.
I just meant, in 21 they had spotters.
Yeah. And they yell out a code word for when the deck's hot or something, or a little signal.
Yeah.
No. We don't do that.
Why not?
If we did, I don't know if I could tell you. But we don't do that. We play on our own. We just have a shared bankroll.
Why don't people use spotters? Don't you just spend a ton of time waiting for the deck to go in your favor?
You do if you play single deck or double deck. It doesn't really take that long.
Oh.
And I don't know what the legality of it is. And it was kind of, when we were learning, it was a pretty big or bigger process to figure out how to count cards and then figure out how to do it with spotters and in a team and all that. But it was really just, I taught myself online,
Yeah.
It was much easier for me to just say, okay, I have a little bit of money saved up. I can play a little bit out of my bankroll, as I always do. And
a little bit.
And go try to make money.
Yeah. So counting. How does that work? So you don't count you don't memorize the actual cards. It's just like +1, -1, +1.
Yeah, not unless you're Rain Man or a savant of some sort, which I am not.
You are not Dustin Hoffman.
No, if I did, I wouldn't be at my mom's house right now, sleeping on the couch.
Reading children's books with pop-ups. I guarantee it has pop-ups.
Dude, Charlotte's Web is a great book. Top 25 book all time. Easy.
Really?
Yeah, on all the lists that we were checking out, it was always up there on every list.
Old white dudes.
I feel like the ending's going to be really sad, though.
Yeah?
Somebody's going to die.
I think there's a pig, right? The pig dies, pretty sure.
Well, don't tell me that. No, the pig can't. I don't think the pig is going to die. I think the spider is going to die.
Yeah.
Because the whole story is set up like the pig's going to die.
Yeah.
So obviously the person that you wouldn't expect that's going to die is going to die. And the girl can't die because that's just way too intense.
Yeah.
It's got to be some sort of animal.
Dude, I watched, I was reading a children's book at fucking Barnes & Noble, and the story.
Shit to me about Charlotte's Web.
Well, I was with my daughter.
Yeah, I don't have that excuse.
So we're reading, the story of, what's that story, where the poison apple, what's that story? Snow White? Is that the story?
Yeah, Snow White.
Yeah, in this version, the 7 little dwarves. In this version, it's 100 little dwarves, and she's just busy with work all day, and she just hates her life. And when the witch comes with the apple, she purposely takes it to kill herself. And then she leaves a sign that says, "Don't wake me up."
Wait, this is a children's story?
This is a children's fucking book. And Maddie's like, "What's going on? What did she do?"
Moral of the story, Maddie, never take heroin.
Basically. Blackjack. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not Dustin Hoffman. We got that.
No. So basically, I mean, there's obviously different systems that you can use. There's the high-low system, which is what we use, which is pretty much the easiest to learn.
Yeah.
And as far as expected value and effectiveness, it's really high up. I don't know how many systems there are. There's over 30 or 40. There's a ton.
Okay.
And it's not the most effective system, but it's, unless there's been new ones that have been invented in the last year or two, it's top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to go with it for how easy it is, for how effective it is. And yeah, you pretty much +1, -1.
Yeah, so 2 is a -1, like 2 through 6 is -1.
Yeah, so, well, 2 through 6 is, most people assign it +1, and then face cards and ace -1. As long as they have separate values, because there's the same of each.
Yeah.
And 7 through 9 is 0. And then you just have this running count in your head, which is +1, -1, +1, +1, etc. And then you divide it by how many decks are left, and that's your true count. And then based off your true count, that's where you determine your bet size.
Okay. So a true count of -1. So it's slightly in your favor, right? How do you decide what to bet based on that?
Well, so you're assigning 2 through 6s as negative cards, right?
Well, let's just do it your way. So
That's the way I do it.
okay.
But most people assign face cards and aces as -1, and 2 through 6 is +1. But just the way how it works out in my head, I see a small valued card, and I think minus.
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
Yeah. So if say it's -1, if like a 4 came out, is that the true count or the running count?
The true count.
So if the true count's -1, basically when the true count is -1, you've pretty much negated the house advantage.
Okay.
So you're pretty much at even. So you would bump up your bet a little bit to set yourself up for raising it higher.
Okay, because you can't just raise it super quick, basically.
You could, but you're going to risk the chance of getting caught a lot more.
Has anyone threatened to break your bones? Or take you in the back room?
Not directly, but
Okay,
I got... oh yeah, there's no video on this, is there?
No.
That's good. Just
Yeah.
in case any pit bosses are part of the Daryl Jace fan club. But I had one pit boss who he'd back me off from counting there, and it wasn't in Vegas. It was at an Indian casino, and he said if I try this in Vegas, they're gonna break my legs there. Take me in the back room and break my legs. That's the only time it's happened. Other than that, they're super nice about it.
Okay.
Like, kind of overly nice. Like, you can't play blackjack here, we can't take your action, but please, go to the buffet, stay at our hotel, make yourself at home, like, be our guest, like, whatever you want, just no blackjack.
Makes sense. That's a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, it's much smarter than the guy who threatened to break my legs.
So 21, the movie, is not very accurate.
No, I mean, I don't know. Who knows what actually happened back then? Obviously, Vegas was way
different. Yeah.
Way different time than it is now, and we don't know those guys' actual story. But as far as if that would happen today, I mean, most likely no. I mean, as far as going to count and taking weekly trips to Vegas, and we do it a lot. So
yeah,
that part's true. But as far as like the whole casino aspect of it and the pit boss and all that is pretty unrealistic as far as today's terms.
Okay. So I have this view that learning blackjack is pretty simple. Learning how to beat it. Is that true compared to poker?
Yes. It is. It's super simple. It's not super simple, but I mean, I taught myself how to count cards in a month, whereas you couldn't teach yourself to be like a really good poker player in a month. But then the hard part about blackjack is it's really easy to learn, super simple, but it's hard to get the speed down right away that you need at a casino.
Yeah.
So to have the speed down and be able to do it with all the bells, the whistles, the lights, people talking to you, be able to not necessarily hold a whole conversation, but to be able to respond to people that ask you questions, to figure out what the count is, how much to bet, be always aware of what the pit boss is doing, and how much heat is on you, and all that. It takes practice to get it down to you're at a level where you can play in the casino and be successful.
Yeah, so just learning the strategy is pretty easy, but there's all these intangible aspects that are so important. I guess decreasing the probability of you getting kicked out is a pretty big one.
Yeah, you just need speed. Like, anybody can count a deck of cards, +1, -1.
Yeah.
The difficult part that people have is being able to do it at a certain pace.
Yeah. Do you now just kind of chunk them all together? Because when I play blackjack, and I suck at blackjack. I mean, I could probably break even. But I'm going one by one.
Do you know how to count cards?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I'm slow as fuck, you know. I'll
can you really count, but you're super slow?
Yeah, I'm just really slow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's the only way you can really at least beat the game.
Yeah, the thing is, I only know 95% of basic strategy, and I count super slow.
Well, if you don't know all of basic strategy, counting is pretty much irrelevant. Obviously, it helps you.
Yeah.
But if you don't know basic strategy, you still can't.
You have to be at 100%.
Yeah, you pretty much have to be at 100%. And it helps to know index plays, which are just variations of basic strategy you do when the count is at a certain amount.
Okay, yeah.
We have to know all those.
There's only maybe 10 of those, right?
There's probably like somewhere in the 20s. There's the illustrious 18, which is the 18 most common ones. There's technically one for every single hand, but there's the 18 that happen the most common, and then there's maybe a few more that you should know.
I remember this hand where I think in 21, where the guy's like yelling out, splitting tens. Is that an actual thing? Where you'd split 2 tens?
Well, you should never, ever, obviously, split tens. And it's funny, because that's the move that gets everybody super pissed at the table. Because most people have this theory that it's a team game, and that if they make the wrong move, it completely just fucks up their hand.
Yeah.
So somebody will split tens, and there's always that old white guy next to them that's like, "Did this fucking guy do this? Are you serious right now? Are you serious, buddy? Are you serious?" And then if he it doesn't matter how he does, if the old white guy wins, he doesn't say anything. Yeah, what an idiot. Hopefully he doesn't do that again. But if he loses, oh man, like, can't believe you messed up the mojo. You don't mess up the mojo.
Is this an actual direct quote?
Yeah, that's actually a direct quote I've heard. But index plays you split tens against a 4, 5, 6 at 6, 5, 4 at the counts, at the true counts. So
okay.
At 4 at 6, 5 at 5, 6 at 4, and that's the only time you do it. The only thing is, it's pretty much a dead giveaway that you are counting.
Okay.
do that. So you just have to know if it's worth it to do it at that time, or
Okay. Well, you probably have a pretty big bet if the count's that high, right?
yeah, you would have one of your biggest increments.
Yeah.
So it usually, like, if I ever get there, I would just do it because there's a bunch of casinos to play at, and I'm more on the careful side, so I don't stay for too long. Whereas my buddy is like just balls to the wall, just stays there till he gets kicked out. He's literally been kicked out of every casino in like the western part of the United States.
Wow.
And I haven't been kicked out of that many yet. Fingers crossed. But I've been definitely kicked out of a few.
Yeah. So, how do you measure win rates? Do you go by bets per hour or hourly rate? And do you mind telling us what your hourly rate is?
Sure. So basically, it's different for everywhere you go. So basically, there's a lot of Indian casinos around me. So
also, no problem if you're not comfortable sharing hourly rate and stuff.
Oh no, it's fine. I'll get right into that. So there's a bunch of Indian casinos around. So we'll go there for a few hours and play, which is pretty easy to calculate your hourly rate. But then there's also Vegas, where you're constantly playing these 12-hour sessions, and you're just doing a ton of walking in between casino to casino. Basically, hourly rate when you're just playing is around 100, give or take. It's hard to know, like, from the progressions we've run and from talking to other people that have used similar betting sizes and strategies. It's slightly, our hourly rate should be expected slightly over 100 an hour.
Huh.
And a lot of it depends on, I mean, if you're playing two hands, that goes up.
Does it double? Should just double, right?
It depends how you play it. So if you're playing one hand and then when the count gets up to like 3 or 4, you add in 2, then obviously you're going to be increasing your rate much more than if you're just betting like 2 hands the whole time. But then again, if you do that, you're seeing more hands.
Yeah.
But it also depends how often you leave the table or wong out whenever the deck is bad. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's not exactly a actual number. And we're not terrible, but we're pretty terrible compared to some people who like obsessively count their hourly rate, which is one of the obsessive things I don't do. But we have like a general idea of what it's around, and we know our lifetime winnings. We can go up and add it in like our general amount of hours to get like a rough degree.
Okay, so do you know what's your spread? What's your betting spread, if you don't mind saying?
So we have used anything from min bet on like the min table
Which is 25 or something?
It can be 15 or 25. So 10 at some of the Indian casinos. And then gone up to a few hundred. Or if we're doing 25, we'll bump it up a little higher than that. Generally, we don't like to go more than 2 chip colors. So if you're betting reds, which are $5 chips, you don't want to go up to blacks because that would be covering 3 different. You'd be covering reds 5, greens 25, and blacks 100s.
Okay.
So you'd want to bet 10 and just maybe throw down like a 15 increment spread where you're betting 150 and using 6 screens because that's one of those like signs that gives you away. But we'll generally go anywhere from $10 one hand to 2 hands of, I mean, around 500. So I mean, it's relative, and that's all changing. I mean, that's when we first started off. We were betting 10 to 60.
Okay.
So 6-1 spread. When we felt we were good enough to play at the casino, trying to get used to it, get the hang of it, just getting the experience in the casino.
Yeah.
And as we got more, we bumped it up. And that's small. Like, that's like smaller to mid-level stuff.
Okay.
And it's been successful so far. I guess we'll see, but and that's based obviously on bankroll.
Yeah, you've been doing it for 2-3 years or something?
Yeah, I've been doing it for almost 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So almost 2 years. But also, like, for like a $500 max bet, I mean, you need a $50,000 bankroll.
Wow.
And if you're doing 500 on two hands, you would need
100K?
You would need 100K because the variance goes down slightly when it's two. When your $1,000 bet is technically split into two.
Okay. Yeah.
But you still would need, and I mean, there's no specific number, but you still would need like at least like 70K or something. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's like kind of roughly our betting increments.
Okay, so if you have, I guess, a true count of 5 or 6, it's just amazing, right? Not very rare. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how often would you...
It's somewhat rare.
Yeah, how often...
insanely rare.
What's your probability of winning the hand in those scenarios?
So when you're at... And 6 is our highest true count number where we raise our bet. So after 6, like you don't really see too many hands above 6. But that's the last one we'll raise our bet. So there's no number above 6. That's the max. That's where we're betting max. Your edge is only at 6, like 53%.
Whoa.
I mean, give or take the table conditions. It might be a little more if you're playing single deck, or depends how many times you can split aces, the different table rules, etc., etc. Standard hit 17, how many times you can split, can you surrender, all that stuff. But roughly, when you're betting max, your edge is only 53%, give or take.
It seems really low.
It does. It's super low. There's a ton of variance. I mean, people have gone on few year downswings.
Wow.
Which is super scary because it's something that I'm at least planning to not be doing in a few years.
Yeah. So what's the longest downswing you've been on?
The longest downswing, our bet spread is very aggressive, by the way.
I imagine you had a hand on that.
Yeah, I'm the one that picked it. So our edge is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think the longest downswing I've been on is maybe like 7-8 months, I want to say.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, like, it's almost half the time I've been doing it. Like, I've definitely won more than I've lost by a lot, and constantly checking yourself to make sure you're still, like, doing things right, and you know the plays by heart, and you can still execute everything at the right speed. But, yeah, I mean, you hit those streaks sometimes.
Is there any way to play... Are there players who strategically play a lot better than you? Like, if the game was just about strategy and not all the intangible stuff, would there be someone with just a way higher win rate than you?
If it just with, like, basic strategy?
Yeah, imagine you didn't have to worry about getting caught or anything like that. And you just counted and played. And those were the only variables. How well you counted, how well you bet, and playing perfect basic strategy.
Yeah.
Is there much difference between the elite guys and the guys below? Or is all the difference in those intangible type stuff?
Oh, so you're talking about just card counters, not compared to the general public.
No, I mean, so it seems like to get, like you were talking about speed as a factor, not making sure you don't get caught as a factor, and that's a big factor in determining how good you are at blackjack.
Sure, yeah.
Is it fair to say that I feel like maybe there's no difference in skill, but in a lot of the guys, and the ability to count and the ability to know basic strategy, basically, or bet.
Yeah, one of the only things to be is that you could learn a new method or a new system
Yeah.
that would give you a higher edge. You could learn more index plays, but once you know like 30 or so of them, the rest happens so rarely, and the edge it would give you over not doing it is so minuscule as is that it's rarely going to make a difference. But yeah, one of the things over time that makes you more successful, I guess, card counter is just knowing the scene, knowing when to lower your bet, when to make a camouflage play, when to leave, knowing when you're getting heat.
Wait, what's a camouflage play? Is that like you order a drink, but it's really just water?
But they give water in little bottles.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. But you could order like a Coke or a Sprite or something like that, and they see you with a drink. It looks a lot less, to at least somebody up in the sky, it looks a lot less card county, if that's a word, than somebody who doesn't have a drink.
Yeah.
Different small things you could do. Sometimes if the pit boss is over and you get one of those questionable hands, you ask them like, "Well, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do here? I never know what to do here." And it distracts them a little bit, or they'll be less inclined to think you're a card counter. To make, when the pit boss is watching you, to make like a small side bet, one of those like shitty carnival game side bets, or when you're betting small, to make a play that it doesn't really give you a huge disadvantage, but it's clearly like the wrong play.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt you too much financially because you're betting small when the pit boss sees you. So you make all these plays to make him think that you're not counting and the eye in the sky. But then also it does cut into your bottom line. So you want to make sure that you're not doing it that often.
Yeah. It's weird, like all the weird things that go into playing good blackjack.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because one of my buddies that does it with me is like a kamikaze dude. He literally just goes in, gives zero shits about how long he's there for, makes no camouflage plays. And I every time I tell him, we're in Vegas, right? And it's Saturday night. So, you want to be comfortable. So you're throwing on like a comfortable pair of shoes. But I'm wearing like slacks and a nice dress shirt. Because you blend in. You blend in with the crowd. He shows up just full on beard, like hoodie, gym shorts.
Yeah.
Always has gym shorts and basketball shoes.
It's the poker player's uniform, by the way.
He looks like a poker player.
Yeah.
And he's just playing, and like maybe in some places that's going to have no effect, a little effect. But in some places it might set off an alarm in somebody's head.
Yeah.
But it's cool because he just does everything like zero fucks given.
Yeah.
With all these like camouflage plays and all that. And it's cool to see how often he gets heat and how often he gets barred from casinos.
Yeah.
Because without that, since we're doing this kind of by ourselves, you really wouldn't know how often it happens.
Yeah. It's cool. Alright, I'd like to get in your other business, but I also just like to leave it open to debate whether you actually cook meth or not. But I'm going to end the podcast before you get a chance to explain.
We can talk about it if you want.
No, I'm going to end the podcast.
Are you ending it?
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it open.
Leave it ambiguous?
Yeah.
Birdman style?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll save that topic for another podcast.
Sounds good.
I do not sell meth, by the way.
Weak. He's weaking, but we don't have the screen share on.
Both my fingers are crossed when I said that.
Okay, so Mr. Cbax1 on YouTube, the Instagrams, and the Twitters.
Also, if anybody... This is weird, I think we talked about this, but why are you laughing at me? Everything I say, you instantly laugh. I can't be serious for a sec. Yeah, so I have been training, I have a bunch of students that I train in blackjack, how to count cards. So if anybody's interested, just hit me up.
Cool.
Cheapest, best training around. That sound creepy, right?
No, super good. Sold. Everyone's sold.
Everybody's sold.
Yeah. Alright, we will end the recording.
It's been real, man.
Cool.